19, it's 14-11, and it's time for the Americans to respond. And cometh the hour, as they say, cometh the man who's got to make a move here. It's the skipper, Rash, just beaten in doubles. He has got to respond, and he's got to try and replicate what he achieved yesterday, beating Martin Larsen in a singles match.
Yes, indeed, Nick. And you can see his average score is only 235. Now, under this scoring system, that is not a particularly high score, and games of 230 and 240 are being beaten. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he can throw in this game against Martin Larsen. And also to bear in mind that the Americans need another 8 victories if they're going to take the Weber Cup. Now, I'm not sure that I can see where they're going to get 8 victories from. But it's just a matter of waiting and seeing.
Well, you would think this has to be one of them here, because Martin Larsen is the guy that's probably been the slowest to get going out of the Europeans. Remember, Jesper Svensson started very hot. Barrett has got better and better. Stu Williams, slow start, but boy, he's firing now. And Martin's just been bubbling under for much of it, but he needs to break out here against Rash, and Rash has got exactly the start he needed.
Yeah, it's a confidence builder for him. A little late on the 10-pin, but he won't worry about that. Great reaction in the back end as the ball comes off the corner of the lane pattern.
Well, the stat that Martin Larsen loves to hear is never been on a losing Weber Cup squad. 5-0. And it could well be 6-0 if he carries on bowling like that. This is almost the point of no return for the Americans, isn't it? If the Europeans take a 4-point lead here, it's going to be very hard for the Americans to pull that back. This is a point they've got to take.
Nick, you're so right. Yes, it is an absolutely climatic time in the tournament here. Sean's been put off and is going to go back and have a little wander. Something just distracted him there. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Martin Larsen had a big game here, just to sort of fool everybody.
Well, he's certainly got one in him, that's for sure. Go, baby! That just about took all 10. Two players have stayed down in the players area. Don Barrett, the skipper, is down there for Europe, and Marshall Kent has stayed down. It just helps for these players just to have somebody just to bounce ideas off if things are going wrong. A little bit of moral support, if nothing else.
That won't help. 7-10 split left off of a ball that wasn't that bad. Hard and fast, just a fraction light in the pocket. The 4 sits in front of the 7, but the 6 goes around the 10, and they both stand there totally defiant.
Who called him Lucky Larsen? Not on that occasion, he wasn't.
He would have been if he'd spared it.
That would have been outrageous. It's an open, it's an early open, but it's Initiative USA here.
Yes, and Sean Rash will want to do well. He's started with the 2 strikes.
Go. Leaves the 10 in the corner off another very good pocket hit. You have to say, we've seen those carried more often than not.
Yeah, that's right. A bit of snap in the back end. The ball's gone in at quite a tight angle. Again, that 6 pins jump round it.
That's another pull up there.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, it could be anything. There is a crowd here, but I'm not seeing any moving or misbehaving going on. But there are a lot of lights that just flash around. And sometimes literally you can just be blinded as you're stepping up, and that'll be enough to put you off. But whatever it is, He's stopped, he's regrouped. Let's see, yeah. Making no mistakes with the single pin.
Okay, Martin Larsen needing 10 just to draw within striking distance of Sean Rash in the third frame.
Yeah, he does need all 10 as well. He doesn't want to let this gap grow any wider. He's got to put that 7-10 firmly behind him. And let's see what his response is. It was not a good pocket hit at all, and he's left an absolute stinker here.
Cracky, yeah, that ball just rode up very quick, didn't it? Snapped in the back end. Didn't break anything up, went straight through the face of the number 1 pin. Leaves the 3, 6 and the 4 and the 7. Makeable spare. If you can hit that 3-pin right-hand side, bounce it across. Well, it will certainly look very impressive if he can. If he can't, it's another open frame.
Well, Stu Williams managed to recover from 2 early open frames back-to-back, but he needed Marshall Kent to let him back in. I'm not sure that Martin Larsen is going to be so fortunate as he talks it over here with Dominic Barrett, and it really is time to make some kind of adjustment, and it is time for Sean Rash to absolutely pour it on here, which he does with a strike.
Yeah, Sean Rash can see the winning tape in this game already. You can see that Martin's down and he's just going to let loose and rip the rack, which he does there for his 3rd strike out of 4.
And this is easy going for him here, no pressure at all. He's got a very big lead early in the match, and let's see what Larsen can do in terms of adjusting after that conversation with the captain. Well, it's nothing working for him here at all at the moment, and your prediction of a pretty big score for Martin Larsen, and I quote Cass Edwards, is going out the window here.
Nick, it wasn't a prediction, it was just maybe hoping a bit, but leaving 10 pins in the corner like that off of a reasonable shot is not going to help. Out comes the spare ball, which is going to go hard and fast.
We need to replay that bit of tape to hear exactly what you said, because it certainly sounded like a prediction to me. Whatever, a big score is not going to be forthcoming. That much we know for certain. Now, a big score could be coming on the other end. Strike, strike, spare strike, and for the 3rd time, he's had to pull up.
Yeah, he's got some sort of problem there with his sliding shoe on that left-hand side of the approach. Now, whether it's perhaps a little bit tacky, maybe he gets his trouser caught underneath his sole.
No, that's the approach that's bothering him, isn't it?
Yeah, something to do with that left sliding shoe.
Now, I haven't seen any other players have this problem, but it's not the first time we've seen this from Rash. And he's managed to put aside the previous pull-ups without disturbing his routine. And he'll carry on in similar vein. He has got this match completely by the scruff of the neck.
Yes, when things are going for you, they certainly do. Not the greatest shot in the world. Crikey, I don't know how he's got that 3-pin to go out. Sorry, the 6-pin. But he did, and it's another strike. 4 strikes out of 5. Pressure on Martin Larsen to do something here, to start something, and hopefully continue it.
I think realistically it's too late already, and I know we're only in frame 5. And Martin just needs to get a strike here, and he's not going to get it like that. Oh, he is. Well, he gets a lucky one. Well, that was not a good shot at all, and he takes all 10.
Well, he is Lucky Larsen. Come on, Nick. That's what his nickname is. Hits the pocket with this shot, a little bit high on the hip, which leaves the 4 and the 9-pin split, but one takes the other. How about that?
Well, Sometimes you just need a little bit of fortune to get yourself kick-started. And there is a pin left, so it's not completely over yet. If there's one thing the Americans have done consistently all weekend in this year's Weber Cup, it is bowled very efficiently at single pins. There was just the one from E.J. Tackett that was far too close for comfort. Everything else has been pretty much nailed on.
Yeah, I can't see Sean Rash giving anything away to help Martin Larsen. It's just all strikes and 2-9 spares.
Well, it was not a convincing strike last time up, but to quote Stu Williams in the commentary box in the last match, it's not about how they go down, it's just how many you get down. That's all that matters. You don't get bonus points for a clean pocket hit and a strike, you just get the points for the strike any way you can, and that was a much better hit. That's probably the best ball he's bowled in this match.
Makes 2 strikes in a row, so it's an extra 30 pins. But as I say, I can't see Rash giving up anything here. And even if Martin strikes off, he's only going to be 246 if he strikes off the sheet, which likely will not be enough.
It's gone wide, and look at the reaction off the back end, but that really had to work hard to get into the pocket.
Well,
leaves the 10.
In fact, Nick, it worked too hard. It came back at such an acute angle. That's why the 10 pin stood up. Had it been slightly straighter, it may well have carried it, but from the outside boards, that's just turned left. Perfect pocket hit as such, but the angle was just wrong.
Back-to-back 9 spares. If Martin can convert a turkey here, he's still got just a glimmer of a hope.
Yeah, but 21 pins adrift with 3 frames, so he's going to rely on Rash having an open frame. But you really can't rely on that, the way he's throwing the ball.
But all he can do is strike off the sheet here and hope that something does happen with Rash, who's been absolutely solid in this singles game thus far.
Big ball for the European, working on 2 strikes.
Make that 3. Well, he's playing his part here. The damage, of course, done a long time ago. A turkey for Martin Larsen. And it's those open frames that you would think have sealed his doom in this one. He needs Rash to let him in, or a bit of bad luck come the Americans' way. A split would make things interesting.
Yes, as you said, Nick, those 2 open frames, frames 2 and 3, cause so much damage. I mean, he's trying to resurrect his game with 3 strikes in a row, but I don't think Rash is going to let him off the hook.
Well, there's certainly been no sign whatsoever in a problem for Sean Rash. He's not had to make any significant adjustments. The lane is still playing clean, and Rash is just efficiently going about his work, and that, I'm sure, will be that.
Yes, he's setting this up for a victory in frame 8 with another strike. Starting to use the full width of the lane now. Great reaction in the back end off that last 20 feet. This is the 2nd game played on this lane dressing.
It will be redressed again for our next match, which is doubles, featuring Jesper Svensson, who we've not seen yet this afternoon, and Stu Williams against E.J. Tackett, who we've also not seen, and Kyle Troop, who we saw right at the start of the afternoon session, bowling a 279. So the Americans will fancy their chances in the next match too. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to see a 14-13 score. That somehow has gone there for Martin, but it is all too late to make any material difference.
Yes, just an unusual 7-10 standing there for a little bit, and the 7 pin wobbled, it twisted, did a summer dance, and then thought about falling over. It's done a full 360 there, isn't it? Look at that, crikey. Someone's opened the door and the draft's come in, and away it's gone. 32 pins the difference, 2 frames to go.
Rash can win this with a blindfold on from here. Yeah, Martin will be looking back at those early open frames. It is so hard to have back-to-back open frames and win. Somehow that 7 has defied gravity, but again, this is all coming far too late in the day to help Larsen out. Takes that out. So
it was close.
Yeah, that wasn't the most convincing single pin spare you'll ever see Sean Rash bowl, but he knows that's enough, and that realistically is the point secured.
Yeah, Martin's got to hit 2 strikes here to make Sean turn up in the last frame.
Well, if he gets 9 in the last frame, that'll be enough for a tie. That is assuming Larsen strikes and then strikes again. And that is the end of that. The bucket is left. Martin, in this point, has kicked the bucket.
Yep, and there's a bit of a hole in it as well.
That's the one that moved off its spot as well, so another open frame. He's not had a good day.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. 184 with a frame to go. It's all over. 3 big open frames for the European.
He'll be really disappointed with this, Martin Larsen, as Sean Rash just puts an exclamation point on this one. Marshall Kent, the first to congratulate him. This was a must-win point, and they'll fancy their chances in the doubles match coming up.
256 is a big game for your first outing of the afternoon, and Rash has done it. Real captain's innings there.
Now, he's just trying to get himself over the 200. That's how disappointing this has been for Larsen, who is so much better than this. And he has just had a nightmare. It's gone bad to worse.
Yeah, change of ball just for the last shot, and he's having a bit of banter there with Rash. It's probably a good job they're not mic'd up for this game. Well, oh, here we go. This is a bit of international doubles here by the look of it. Bit of exhibition stuff. Which pins are you going to take?
Let's have some fun.
One's left-handed. Rash is left-handed. Larsen's right-handed.
Oh.
Well, it nearly worked. It was one of their party piece trick shots, and Rash has fallen off the lane. So it's all good fun and great banter here. Great friends on and off the lanes, but it's a victory for the American captain, Sean Rash.
Indeed it is, and that big exhale of breath there really just sums up how important it was as well. Martin Larsen came into this one hoping for big things. It didn't happen for him. The Americans needed that point, and the captain has delivered. They reduced the deficit, and they'll be looking to shrink it to just 1 when we return.